Hey hooligans, welcome back. So in this video we're going to pick up where we left off. Hopefully you were able to get the inputs put in and then map the inputs to some of the blueprint code that you grabbed from Blueprint UE. And hopefully you're at a point where you have your hooligan moving around a little bit. So for example, you can see in this case the hooligans moving forward, backwards, left, right. I'm actually using a game stick, and one of the things I wanted to show you real quick is I think I left something off in the last video just to fix the looking up and looking down. So if you go to the blueprint for your hooligan, now you're in the blueprint class. Oh, sorry, open that up. Remember we created this variable called turn rate gamepad. By default, that's set to 0. So if you go into your blueprint for your hooligan and you open up the turn rate gamepad, you go down to the variables and you see the turn rate gamepad here, and you scroll in details all the way down, you'll see turn rate gamepad at 0. So set that to something like 20. And remember, this is only related to the gamepad. If you're moving your hooligan around using the WASD keys or the up to arrow keys, no problem. But we did put inputs in for both a keyboard as well as a game controller. And so I wanted to just fix the game controller there. So compile and save that. So go into your Hooli blueprint, go to that turn rate gamepad and set that value to say 20. Now if you go back and you play, and remember it's this joystick here, so there you go. So you're looking down, you're looking up, and then the left controls left, right, forward, backward. But remember we map these in the input settings to the left or the Y and then the X joystick on the game controller. But what I forgot to tell you in the gamepad is to be able to look up and down, you have to go and set a value to that variable. Anyway, so there we go. So pretty boring though. We got this sort of stiff mannequin moving around. So next thing I want to show you real quick is we're going to put some animations in. And the first thing we need to do is to grab some animations. I've gone ahead and created a zip file, and the link to this is in the details of the video. There's 8 files in here. What these are is these are FBX files that were created out on Mixamo. And so I used Mixamo to create the files we're going to use, and these are not with skin, so I download them without skin. And since our hooligans all, we all have the same skeleton, right? And so, and we have the same rig set up there. And if you should be able to use these animations with your hooligan. So go ahead and download those, and I'll go ahead and show you here. I went ahead and downloaded it. It's called Hooligan Movement Animations, and there's 8 FBX files in here that you want to extract and put somewhere on a drive so that you can go ahead and bring those into Unreal. So let's go ahead and do that. I've unzipped the zip file, and I want to go ahead and bring in these animations for my hooligan, because we're going to use these as we move around. Like I said, right now he's just this sort of stiff T. What we're going to do is we're going to start adding some walking and running, the jumping motion, the landing motion, happy idle, how he would fall and then fall to a landing. We're going to do all that in an animation blueprint that we'll set up here in a little bit. But first, let's just get our animations in. So if we go ahead and go to our project, and I don't know how you've followed me along in terms of the setup. In my case, I have animations folder under content, and I'm using Hooligan 4579. So in the animations folder, I have Hooligan 4579. As you can see, I don't have any animations in there. So I'm going to go ahead and just start to drag these in. So falling idle, and what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to go ahead and just reset to defaults. There's not anything special we're going to do here. Only what you need to do, since this is an animation without a skeleton, you need to choose the skeleton you want to apply it to. And in my case, I'm going to use Hooli 4579 skeleton and leave all the other defaults, and I'll import all. And I'll just show you real quick what that looks like in terms of we get animations folder 4579 falling idle. We just dragged in, and if I open it, I'll see, this is sort of, we're going to use this as a falling pose when he's falling off or jumping off something very high. He'll go into the state, which is falling, and that's, he's kind of looking down and got his feet out. So we'll use this animation. So what we need to do is go ahead and I'm going to pause for a second, drag all the other animations in, and then pick up where we left off. Okay, welcome back. I wanted to just pause there and drag all the animations in. So what you should see here is you've got your animations in, and again, download them from the zip file that is in the detail or description of this video, and go ahead and just maybe double click on a couple and check on them. So there's walking, looks pretty good. He's walking all right. Make sure they all imported okay. In total, you should have 8 animations, and we're going to go ahead and pull all these together so that we can create a nice fun running and walking and jumping and falling movements for your hooligan. Okay, first thing we want to do is we want to create a blend space. Okay, and what that is that's a way for Unreal to blend walking, then walking a little faster, and then running. And we'll use that blend space in our animations. It's a common way to sort of blend between animations. That's why we have a walking, walking faster, and running. So let's go to blueprints. In my case, I got blueprints 4579. I have my good old character blueprint here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and I want to go to animation blend space. I'm going to go ahead and create a blend space with this hooligan 4579, and I'll call it BS_Hooli 4579. So we're going to create a blend space, and we're going to use a couple animations in this blend space. So once you create it, open it up, and you should just see your hooligan in a T-pose. And we're going to go ahead and add the walking faster, and then running. We're going to create a transition here, a blend across that, and we'll use that later in the animation blueprint as we go and create the animations. So first thing we want to do on the left is we're going to look at the horizontal axis, and right now it's none, so let's just call this speed. All right, and the max speed on the axis we'll set to 375. And you can double check on that. Really, I think what Unreal recommends is that's kind of the typical running speed. So you'll go from 0 to 375. 0 would be kind of slowly walking, getting faster, faster, faster. 375 would be running. So more details on that if you want to look it up. But we're going to go from 0 to 375 on that. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and add our animations. So if you see this graph down here, all right, and if you hit the control button, you can grab this green arrow and you can move along speed here. Now nothing's happening. Again, you see our speed variable when we created it down here. When you click on control and you hold the green button, you can kind of move from 0 along the horizontal axis to 375. Let's go ahead and bring in some animations. So the first one we want to do is over on the right, you should see all the animations that you brought in. It should see those 8 animations, and the first one we're going to bring over is to the far left is walking. So there you go. Our Hooli is walking. The next one is walking faster. Drop that kind of probably right here in the midpoint. You can kind of play with that a little bit. This is where if you hit the control green key, control and grab this green arrow and start on the very left, watch as I move it a little bit further. See how he's starting to speed up and walking faster? So as it goes, you can move this maybe a little bit further over, I don't know, maybe to the middle or something like that, but get a good spot for that. The point is, as you go along the speed horizontal axis and you click the green button there, or the control, and you kind of scroll over, you're going to get it to go faster. Now let's grab running and put it at the very end here of our axis. So the last thing at 375, you will be running, or our Hooli will be running. And so now when I grab, let's move this a little bit further left there. Now when I grab the green and I go from left and I move to the right. See how he's walking faster, and then he's running. So you're basically creating a nice blend of animation from walking slow, getting a little faster, to running fast. So there you go. That's all we need to do in this. We're going to go ahead and hit save. So we have this blend space. And like I said, we'll use this later in the animations to be able to do a nice transition from the idle and then walking to running, or walking fast and running. So next thing we want to do is we're going to go and create. We have our blueprint of our character. We have our blend space now, which all that's doing is taking the walking faster and running animations and blending those together. Now we're going to go ahead and let's create our animation blueprint. So you're going to right click and do animation blueprint. And we of course want to use the current Hooligan that you're working on, in my case 4579, and hit create. And so I'll call it an_Hooli 4579. So now we have an animation blueprint. And last thing we're going to do in this video, and then I'll pick up in the next video. But let's go ahead and open up our blueprint class now. And if you remember when we go to our mesh, so we'll do viewport, our event graph. When you go to the mesh of the character, so on the left here you have your Hooli and then mesh. If you scroll down here, you remember we have a skeletal mesh and we pointed it to a particular skeletal mesh. Now we're going to point it to our particular animation blueprint. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down here. We're going to say anim class, Hooli 4579. So that's the anim class, use animation blueprint, and AN4579C. So that's the animation blueprint. And we're going to build out the animation blueprint. All we did now is we created it. I'm going to go ahead and have you, though, go into your character and go ahead and say use animation blueprint and use this blueprint anim class that we just created. Compile, save, and there we go. So to sum up the video, really, we are going to go ahead and take your, again, we're still going to be relatively boring here. We haven't done anything and wired anything up. We'll do that in subsequent videos. But you should be able to look up, look down, look left, look right, start moving around with your Hooli. And then we went ahead and we grabbed a bunch of animations for our Hooligan. We grabbed 8 animations from the zip file in the description in the video. And we loaded those in and went ahead and created our animation blueprint and a blend space to sort of blend those together. So that's it for now, and I will finish up more videos where we'll go ahead and start to edit that animation blueprint and start getting some animations and movements.